Yo, it's your boy Six, and welcome back to another self-working card magic tutorial. If you haven't had a chance to do so already, be sure to watch my TEDx talk. Your support means the world to me. Drop a comment and hit the like button. Watch just the speech, watch just the magic, watch the whole thing. It's up to you, whatever you like, but your support is really invaluable, so thank you. It's linked up above, linked down below, so be sure to check that out. Let's talk about today's effect though. This effect comes from the brilliant mind of Nick Trost in his book titled The Card Magic of Nick Trost. Very original title there. In that book is a great effect called Double Discovery. Absolutely incredible self-working trick. My favorite part though is you never have to touch the cards. The spectator handles the cards the entire time. So once you put the cards down on the table, you don't have to touch them again, which I think is absolutely incredible. It's a powerful effect. You're really gonna enjoy it. As a bonus, I'm gonna share with you another effect. This one uses a completely shuffled deck in use, so no setup card trick, which is nice. It's called Prediction, and it's an encyclopedia of card tricks. I don't like the handling that was published here, so I made some variations and changes to it just to make it a little bit more to the point and a little bit cleaner. So I think you'll like that one as well. So that's an extra bonus for you. You gain two effects today. One that's completely self-working and one that has no setup and is self-working. So be sure to stay and watch the entire video to get that second bonus effect in there as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at the performance of Nick Trost's Double Discovery. All right, let's take a look at this effect. Double Discovery from the one, the only, Nick Trost. Now, in actual performance of this effect, from here on out, I wouldn't touch the cards. I'd place them down on the table, and after that, the magician would no longer touch the cards. What I'd have the spectator do is I'd tell the spectator to cut up a bunch of cards and flip them face up and put it right next to the pile, as you see here. Then I would say I want you to cut one more time. Cut a bunch of cards from the face up pile, turn those face down just like that. And what I want them to do is pick up the piles from left to right, because what they're doing is now they've trapped a bunch of random cards in between two packets like this. So we'll get rid of these cards. We won't need these anymore. We'll use that face down pile. And I'd have the spectators deal those cards into four piles like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And they would continue around until they exhaust all the cards, just like this. So now we have 4 random piles from the spectator. And remember, the magician never has to touch the cards during this whole process. And the interesting thing is that even though they cut anywhere they liked, and as fair as it seemed, and even though they dealt the cards themselves, they managed to stop at the 1, 2, 3, 4 kings. I think that's impressive, but I think it's even more impressive that even though the magician never touched the cards and they cut anywhere they wanted, they actually happened to find the 1, 2, 3, 4 aces as well. Absolutely incredible, hands-off magic. It's hard to get better than this. This is Double Discovery from Nick Trost. Let's go ahead and take a look at the explanation for this wonderful effect. So 2-for-1 special today because I love you all. Thanks for tuning in. And let's go ahead and get into the explanation for Double Discovery by Nick Trost. First thing I want to mention, a couple of things you want to be aware of. You want to make sure you're probably using a worn-in deck of cards. You don't want to use a new deck of cards, and I'm going to get into why that matters. So there's a minor setup for this effect. Let's talk about the setup. I'm going to spread these out here so you can see. At the bottom of the pack, you're going to have 4 kings face up. So the 4 kings are going to be face up at the bottom of the pack. All of these cards are going to be normal mix, but on the top of the deck, you're going to place the 4 aces. So you begin, you remove the 4 aces, remove the 4 kings, place the 4 kings face up. This is shuffled rest of the cards right on top of those kings, and these aces go face down. I have them in chased order because that's what I always do, but the order is irrelevant to the working of this effect. Using 4 aces on top and the 4 kings face up, and that is your setup, and you're good to go. With that in mind, you are going to have to place these cards on the table or in the spectator's hand. So let's say you place the cards on the table and it's a new deck of cards. That means those cards are going to be slippery and they're going to slide. And that is an issue when you're using face-up cards because sometimes you'll place it down and the cards will move a little bit or shift a little bit and it might expose the face-up cards at the bottom, and you don't want that to happen. So that's why I highly recommend you use a worn-in broken in deck of cards. In New York City right now, it is really, really hot and humid, so these cards are very sticky, so that does the work for me. It's also a well broken in deck of cards. I've been shuffling it and using a lot, so that's gonna help as well. So keep that in mind. The second thing is that now that you have that set up and you have to place these cards on the table, like they will move, even with the worn in deck of cards, my suggestion is to have either a soft surface like this. I recommend that, so this way when the spectator has to pick up the cards with the kings, they won't get left behind, because sometimes when you have like a hard surface, it's very difficult to pick up the cards and you may leave some cards behind. So if you don't have a soft surface, because who's walking around with a soft surface in their pocket? I mean, I guess that's what a pocket is, but you know what I mean. So what I recommend is this. You can either place the cards in the spectator's hand, and that's going to keep them from exposing the bottom card, so that works perfectly fine. Or another way, you can take the card box and turn the card box sideways like this, and then you can place these cards on top like that. And the reason why that's helpful is that when they have to pick up the last packet, they can pick it up easily without leaving any cards behind. So those are some professional tips there. My years of experience have taught me don't use a hard surface, especially with cards like this, because it'll get left behind. So either place it on top of the box, get a soft surface, or put it in the spectator's hands and then follow along. Okay, so back to this effect. You got 4 aces on top, 4 kings face up at the bottom. You're going to begin by placing the packet or the deck on the table like this, and you're going to tell the spectator to cut about half the cards and turn that whole packet face up and place it next to it. That is the first thing. The second thing is you're going to have them cut half these cards again, the face up cards, and flip them face down and place it down like this. So now this is the position of your cards. This really is a random packet of cards, and everything is cut fairly. Just to give you some kind of position check here, you're going to have the 4 kings at the bottom of this first pile, and that's important to note because that is how the cards are going to be set up. Now the face-up cards at the back are going to have the 4 aces, because that is the original top packet. That is what happened there in that procedure, right? Because this just turned over this way. So you're going to have the kings get placed at the face of this packet. So you want to place these 4 kings on top of the face-up packet. That's the secret move that is pretty much happening here. And all you have to do is, in this case, because you're watching from the spectator view, they're going to pick up the packet all the way to the left and place it on each pile. If you're this performer, you're facing this way, it'd be the opposite way, right to left. But all you have to know is the packet with the 4 kings at the bottom is where you want to have them pick up first. So have them pick up this pile. And again, if you're using the card box, it would already be there, so you know that they're picking up the card box pile, placing it on top of the face-up cards, and then placing that on the right pile, just like that. And that's it. All you have to do from here is turn the whole packet face up, and then they can spread the cards, or you can spread the cards. And I love this moment, and I love this moment for a number of reasons. A, it is super clean. You are showing all the cards, and it makes it seem super fair. And at this point, it really doesn't look like you've done anything. Magic hasn't happened yet. We just cut the packets, and we end up with a regular packet in the middle, face down, and that will be the spectator's cards. So now you can ask them to remove the face-up cards like this and place them to the side. Say, we'll eliminate those cards. We don't need those. We'll just use this random pile that you ended up with in the middle. I'm going to pause here to give you a position check, just so you know where you are. You're going to have 4 aces right here at the top of the pack. And at the bottom are the 4 kings. So it's already positioned for you. And the only thing you have to do from here is simply have them grab that middle packet and deal 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. And continue dealing in the same manner, one on top of the other, going around as if they were dealing some poker hands. And when they run out of cards, they stop. And that has now positioned the kings in the right spot for you. So now you can reveal the king on top, a king on top, king on top, and now they have all 4 kings. A very powerful effect, and especially if you've never touched the cards, it is so good because you don't have to ever touch the cards for this effect to work. And as the added bonus surprise here, you can say, look, not only did I never touch the cards, you had them in your hand the whole time, you did the cutting, you did the dealing, you found the 4 kings, but you also found the 1, 2, 3, 4 aces. An absolutely beautiful reveal, truly incredible. I'm telling you, don't touch those cards. Emphasize you're not touching those cards, and you're going to get a lot of great reactions with this effect. So that's Double Discovery from Nick Trost. Let's go ahead and take a look at Prediction from Encyclopedia of Card Tricks. All right, so this is a performance of the effect Prediction here. I modified it slightly. There's some things I didn't like about the original. So it's a minor adjustment, if you will. So we're going to begin. The cards can be shuffled by the spectator. It doesn't matter. It's completely up to you. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to turn these cards face up for a second because you're going to make a series of decisions. You're going to cut some cards, make some adjustments. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to write something down on this blank card right here. But I'm going to do it now before we do anything. So you can't see what I'm writing, as it should be. I'm going to place it just like that on the table. That is my prediction. I'll get rid of these just so you don't get confused. That is my prediction right there underneath the marker. Don't get any ideas. I'm going to place this here like this, and I'm going to have the spectator cut off a big packet of cards, about 2/3 of the deck, and I want you to flip it face down to the middle like we have here. And then I want you to make another cut, again, from this pile and flip that face up. So now we got completely random cuts. And if you could, please pick up this packet and place each one on top of the other, just like we have here. Boom. And your packet is going to be this middle packet here. So I'm going to remove these face-up cards, and then I have the spectator take these cards in their hand, hold them face up, and deal them into 2 piles. And we're going to end up wherever we randomly finish with 2 cards facing our spectators. And that's going to be here, which is the 9 of clubs and the 2 of clubs. Let's reiterate this for a second. The cards were shuffled by the spectator. They were randomly cut into different places, and we ended up dealing into 2 cards, and we ended up with the 9 of clubs and the 2 of clubs under the fairest of circumstances. I wrote down something earlier, and I actually wrote down the 2 of clubs and the 9 of clubs, exactly where the spectator stopped. So let's go ahead. Okay, so this is with a shuffled deck of cards, as mentioned. So I'm going to get rid of this prediction for now. So this is a regular shuffled deck of cards, and I'm going to give you 2 things you have to do here. What has to happen for this effect to work is that there has to be 2 cards reversed at the bottom of a face-up pack. Okay. What I didn't like about the original version of this effect is that this card is going to be like forced basically, but I don't like that they'll see the 2 of hearts and later on the 2 of hearts appears again. I just, to me, not good. So what I do is we're going to use 2 random cards. So how do I get into that position from a shuffled deck? Well, I begin with what's called the Browy reversal. I'm also going to show you how to do this completely self-working. The Browy reversal is I'm going to get a break under the top 2 cards of the pack, and that break is going to be at the back like you can see here. And I've talked about this in another video which I'll link to. I'm going to take about half these cards, cut them from underneath, and they're going to get placed on top of the 2 cards and the break. But I'm still holding a break and gap between those 2 cards. Then I take everything from underneath that break, same idea, pull it out, flip it face up, that goes on top. And all that does is, just by holding a break, I'm able to reverse the top 2 cards at the bottom of a face-up packet. Well, it looks like I'm turning the cards face up. An even easier way to do this, honestly, is you can spread through, get a break under the top 2 cards, like I have here now. And then you can say, you know, we're gonna make some cuts. Now, normally I'd have you cut underneath the table. And then when you go underneath the table, you simply reverse the bottom 2 cards back underneath. And you come back forward and say, but then you may be thinking, because you can't see, something sneaky is happening. So I'm going to let you do all the cuts in full view in front of everybody. So that's just giving the justification to why you have them cutting the cards, but going underneath the table allowed you to reverse the 2 cards. So just so you know, I had a break under those 2 cards. As I go under the table, I just literally flip those 2 cards over, place them on the bottom, come back forward and say, but if you cut under the table, maybe you think because we couldn't see something that something magic-y or sneaky was happening. So I'm going to have you cut the cards in front of everybody. And now it makes it seem even more fair, but really that was just your ruse to get these 2 cards reversed underneath. The second thing that's important is I need to get a peek of those 2 cards. I need to know what those 2 cards are. So how do I know that information? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push over the bottom card underneath. So what happens here is literally my fingers are just going to push this card slightly over. Just a little bit. I don't need much because I just need to be able to see that index. So once that card is pushed over, then I say I'm going to make a prediction and write something on this piece of paper. And as I point here to the piece of paper, that's when I'm getting a peek at these 2 cards because I can see 6 of diamonds and 2 of diamonds. So from here, I'll point. I'm trying to expose it to the camera here. And that's what I'm seeing. 6 of diamonds, 2 of diamonds. Just by a quick point, I can see those 2 cards. Now I square them back up in my hands. Everything looks clean again. Nothing's exposed. And now I can go into the effect by placing the cards down. The rest of the procedure is straightforward. So I'm going to write down here 6 of diamonds and 2 of diamonds. Nobody would see me write that. Obviously, it'd be placed face down, but for the sake of explanation, I will have it face up. Now you cut off about 2/3 of the deck, flip it face down, same thing, spectator flips these face up. It is the same procedure, because now we're placing those 2 face down cards on top of this pile, just like this. Now I can spread through and say, go ahead, I want you to grab all those face down cards. Those would be your lucky cards. They can flip those face up and then deal into 2 piles and say we're just going to end up wherever we end up. I want it to be completely random. And really what that's doing is allowing you to bring those 2 cards, the 2 of diamonds and 6 of diamonds, to the face of the packet like this. I like the dealing because I feel like it makes it more fair because it seems more random. And it ends up with the 2 of diamonds and 6 of diamonds. And then you can reveal your written prediction that you knew what it was. Obviously, because it ends up on top here, you can also just take out those face down cards. Say I want to take this card here, take 2 cards here, and then you can reveal it that way without the dealing. Again, totally up to you. Or if you wanted to deal face down, the same thing, except now it ends up at the bottom. And you can say, look, we ended up here at the 2 of diamonds, and we ended up here at the 6 of diamonds, and then reveal your predictions. Either way, it's up to you. That's just a little twist that I added to these, this effect prediction from the Encyclopedia of Card Tricks. It uses that same method, which I think is great. Obviously, these are some cool effects, really simple to do, and I hope you enjoy that. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next episode. Go ahead, drop some comments, let me know if you have any questions. Peace.